Hey guys, it's Josie Bunn, and today we are going to be customizing my Adidas with me, as well as a handbag that I did pick up from the thrift that I'm super excited about. I'm really excited to make this bag something that I'm going to absolutely treasure and take with me everywhere I go. So for the supplies for this, you're going to need some shoe or leather paint, something to paint, and some brushes for the most part. But let's get started with customizing these shoes. Now these are a really old pair of Adidas Superstars that I have customized with my nickname. As you can see, it's Josie Ozzy. These were actually supposed to say Josie on both sides, but I typoed, and now, that's just my life. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the shoelaces. I'm going over the previous customization with isopropyl alcohol as well as acetone to try and remove as much of it as I can, but not all of it comes off, and that is perfectly fine because we're going to be going in with a sealant anyways. And plus the white parts of the shoe are so thoroughly stained, we're going to have to paint the whole shoe regardless. So I have been obsessed with Pinterest lately. If you've been on my channel recently, you know that I am a recent Pinterest user. I have not used Pinterest previous to this year, at least not religiously and not as eloquently as I do now. And I have forced these brown and tan sneakers to pop up in my algorithm. So I decided, instead of spending $100 on a brand new pair, why not see if I like the vibe by customizing one of my really old pairs of sneakers. This pair is, like I said, like 5 years old at this point, and it was just time for a change. They had been this cracking gold paint for quite a while now. They looked really good when I first did them, but it's just been time for a change, and I'm sure that I will feel the same way about this particular paint job in probably not as long of a while, because these shoes definitely are more for my very specific taste and not so much for the general consumption. I don't think most people would pick these colors. And I know that this color that you're seeing on the screen right now does look like baby poop, but I promise it dries into this beautiful dark chocolate brown color. It's so gorgeous. I am in love with how this dried. It dries so dark and nice, and I actually was unsure about painting the stripes because I liked the stripes, but I'm actually really thrilled with how they turned out. And if I'm ever unhappy with it, I can always remove the paint. That is the one thing that I always make sure of, is that the paint I'm using will come off, or I can just paint over it with black if I so choose to have a black stripe again. So it's not a huge loss to me. And you can see some of the staining here from the old grungy shoelaces. That would not come off with tons of scrubbing. But you're just gonna let that paint dry to cover up all those gross little scuff marks, and we're gonna come back later on after these have fully dried. Later on that same night, I decided I actually wanted to add a third shade of beige, so I went ahead with a slightly lighter color and just went in on these sides. And I actually ultimately ended up, you don't see it in this video, but I actually ended up going between the stripes as well and using this same light beige color just to sort of unify the whole shoe. I'm not certain that everyone's going to like these, but so far I think they're pretty cool and pretty cute, so that's really all that matters, is that I like them. No one else really has to. If you are curious, that night I actually did some relaxing to my friend Atari's stream. She has a really fun YouTube channel. I will link it below, but she is Atari on YouTube and Twitch. She usually streams on Twitch, doesn't really upload that often to YouTube, but if you like games or video games and gaming, you should follow her. So you see me here now adding the first layer of top coat. I'm going in just with a regular little brush here, and once these shoes are complete, I'm going to go ahead and put some new laces in them. These are actually from the dollar store, so they're nothing too special or extravagant, and they're actually a little shorter, but I will probably need to replace these pretty quickly. Now this bag, I am not loving the color, but I do love the shape, and that's what's important. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that I did to the shoes, go over this really thoroughly with some isopropyl alcohol and some acetone just to remove any like oils or any debris that could be on the surface of the bag as well as inside the bag, just to make sure it's nice and clean and sanitized, since this is from the thrift store and it is this really shiny plasticky material. I don't want any remaining oils from anyone's hands to be on the bag, and I'm going to go ahead and go in right away with the first coat of paint after the surface dries a little bit. And I'm just taking this on a pretty big brush just to make sure I get all of the coverage that I need. I'm going in with really thin coats here just to make sure that I'm gonna get a nice layering on this. I want this to last quite a long time, so definitely looking to make a really high quality DIY with this one. The shoes I'm not too concerned about because I own so many shoes that if I have one junky pair that I keep customizing, that's not really a big deal to me. And I have another pair of black and white Adidas, so it's not super urgent that this pair stays perfect and wonderful and nice, and plus they are customized with my nickname, so it's not like I could just donate them and everyone would like get what the nickname on the Adidas are. With this, it's a lot more of a, I want this to be a long-lasting project that I don't have to repaint after it gets like scuffed or something. I want it to look really nice for a long time, so I'm gonna make sure to take my time and do many coats of very sheer paint to make sure that I get rid of this awful pale yellow color. At first I wasn't sure I wanted to paint the bag, and then the more I looked at the color, like the more it kind of grew on me, but also the more I was like, I am never actually realistically going to wear this pale yellow color. Maybe with a certain type of bag, but certainly not one like this. This bag was literally begging to be this tannish beige color, and I couldn't think it looks nicer. Like, it looks so good. I'm even going in like the behind pocket to make sure that it gets a layer of paint. It's not exactly as thick a layer because I want to make sure that this doesn't come off on the inside of the bag, but I did want it so that if I go to put something back there and I stretch the bag out and you were to see inside it, it's still the same color. It's all one unified shade, and I want to make sure to hit those edges of the bag as well as all the seam work extra, just to make sure that that part doesn't wear and tear over time, because I feel like those are the parts that get most worn on my regular handbags that aren't painted. So when painting, I wanted to make absolutely sure that those areas had a ton of full coverage and a lot of different thin coats on them so they weren't going to chunk up. And you can really see a comparison of the original pale yellow color and the beige that it's turning into. I know it kind of looks white on camera, but trust me, you will see in the reveal shots that this is definitely a beige, and I am definitely excited about that. Who knows, I might paint this again. I probably will end up painting this again, just because I do really love the shape of this bag, but the color is definitely something to be desired. And even once it's beige, I think I have a lot of white handbags, so I think if there's ever a point where I haven't used this bag in a few months the way that it is, I'm going to go ahead and paint it. Maybe a more fun color, maybe a deeper mauve-y taupe color, or maybe a pink. I know I did a poll on Instagram that I'm going to talk more in depth about, but everyone wanted me to make this bag pink for the most part, and I got done painting the primer coat, which is the beige color, and I just couldn't. I had to leave it beige for a while because it was literally just so pretty. It turned out so nice, and I'm gonna go ahead and start doing my glossy coats now. So obviously this is a lot harder to see, so there's a lot less footage of me doing this, but it is a really thick and nice glossy coat, and I did 4 coats of gloss in total, so I let that dry in between. This did take a couple of days, 2 coats per day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening, and I think it turned out really well, and I think that this bag will last me a long time. So it is the next morning. I'm checking on the shoes in the bag. Now the bag, I don't mind it being glossy. In fact, I can't really decide if I like it better glossy or not. So I don't actually mind this being as glossy as it is. I think it actually looks kind of cute that way. However, the shoes are very glossy. They're not as glossy as I thought they would be, which is good. And I will probably end up leaving this bottom tread here. I will be leaving that glossy so that it's easier to wipe like mud and gunk off of it and easier to clean. I know you can use matte top coats, but in my experience, matte top coats tend to degrade a lot faster than glossy ones. So what I'm gonna do to combat this is just do a final coat of like the colored paints over top. That way, if those flake off, there's still color underneath. Yes, it's gonna be glossy, but it'll be easier to repaint them. If that makes any sense to you at all. So I still have to finish the tongue of the shoe, so I will be coating that in the gloss. But I'll probably be leaving the white parts glossy just because I think that's kind of cool, actually. And again, I think it's going to make them way easier to clean. The white parts I think absolutely need to stay sort of this easier to wipe off surface, so I'm going to be leaving those. And then I have to finish the sides of the bag. I have to seal those. I have to seal the bottom, which obviously has to come last. I took a poll on Instagram. You guys really wanted to see this bag pink, which I do too. So this definitely won't be the only time that I'm painting this bag. I will probably be repainting it again so that it's pink later on down the line. I do have a ton of pink paint, so I can pick a shade and make this super cute. But I do actually really like the beige, so I think I'm gonna wear the beige out for a while. This was a primer and paint, so I went ahead and I'm just gonna keep it. If nothing else, it's a nice primer for the next color that I decide to make this. I'm done. I will obviously show you the finished product. Once the tongue is done, I do have new shoelaces to put in these because the old ones were really grungy. So I threw those away because there was no coming back from that. So once I'm done painting these again and they're done drying, I will tune back in and show you guys the final product. Okay, so here is the final reveal, and you don't have to say it in the comments. I know these look like bowling shoes, okay? I realize that. I completely know. And you know what? I was on a bowling team once, so I think it's actually quite fitting for my personality that these look like vintage 70s bowling shoes. And I think they look fine, okay? Are they my favorite thing in the world? Are they what I was going for? Not really. But do they still look cute and satisfy my niche for a beige sneaker? Maybe also no, but I do think they're cute. If I saw these in a store, I would be like, wow, that's a cute color combo. But yeah, I would say that they look like bowling shoes. So is this my favorite DIY in the world? Yes, actually, the more I look at them, the more they grow on me. So I like them. And here is the final reveal of that handbag. I will go ahead and put a picture of what this looked like before on the screen because I actually didn't film a ton of this beforehand. So I did find this bag on eBay. If you want to go buy it, you absolutely can and should. I will have it linked in the description below as well, but I'm using their picture. So just to give them some credit, this is what the bag looks like once it is painted. I snagged this bag for around $3, so the fact that it now looks like a bag that I could honestly buy for like $100 makes it just feel so special. Like, I took the most Pinteresty pictures of this bag, and I am so happy and proud of how this came out, and I literally cannot wait to use it. The next time I go out, this is the handbag that I buy. The one thing I would like to add to this is a chain or a strap. I know it originally came with one, but it did not when I bought it from the thrift store, so that is definitely something I would look to add, but other than that, I think this is kind of perfect. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week with a Thrift With Me video. I've already got that one edited and uploaded. It's just scheduled for next Saturday, so I will see you guys then with a proper Thrift With Me and thrift try-on haul. So I'm so excited, and I will see you then. Stay well until next time, guys. Bye!